Hello, hello, my dear health seeker. Inga from Health Origins here, and welcome to Cook Along for Weight Loss Sunday show. So today, last time we made some homemade almond milk, and I've asked you to keep that pulp. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make cookies with it. So, because we don't want to waste the almond pulp because it's still a good thing. So you can add it to different, things. So to your bread, to other baking. But today specifically, we're gonna be making some cookies. So vegan and also gluten-free cookies because there's no wheat flour or any gluten-containing flour involved. So let's begin. What we're gonna need for this is 2 super ripe bananas. So these were really spotty and dark. So all you're gonna need to do with these is to mash them. So mash them well with fork. So the more spotty, the more ripe bananas, the sweeter your cookies. Yeah, it's definitely best. Like for banana breads, you really want ripe bananas for this recipe. So we just mash it with fork until it becomes kind of a baby puree, if you like. So it almost becomes like an egg consistency because this is what basically it is. It's replacing the egg and also gives the sweetness. And we have flax seeds, milk flax seeds as well for the egg too. So these are kind of like 2 egg replacements in one recipe, if you like. So yeah, these 2 bananas are quite well mashed now. So yeah, so it's it's like a goopy paste now, like baby food. So that's good. So then we're gonna need to add half a cup of either almond butter. I think almond butter would work even better, but here I've got my peanut butter in this instance, but any nut butter should work. I think it would be even nicer to put almond butter because you already got almond pulp. And if you put a little bit of even almond essence, it will be super kind of almond cookies. So I might try that next time. But this time I've got peanut butter, so that's what I'm using. And by the way, I forgot to show you. So this is what we're making, guys. These soft, delicious, yummy, quite light cookies. So I made a batch earlier today just to show you guys. And we pretty much finished them already. So I've added the peanut butter here. And there we go. Peanut butter is in here. Then we gonna mash that in just to make sure, because you really want to distribute the bananas and peanut butter quite well, because we're going to be adding other ingredients, and if you don't incorporate the butter at this point, it might be a little bit tricky to do that. So, and the recipe that I'm borrowing, I changed a little bit. I changed the maple syrup to a like granulated sugar. So I've got some soft brown sugar that I bought when I didn't find any other, like rapadura nori buy. So this is unrefined cane sugar, but I didn't get it at the time, so I bought some brown soft sugar. So that's what I'm going to be using for this recipe. So you can either use that, but I would suggest if you can get either rapadura sugar or even coconut sugar would work well here. So Caitlin Shoemaker, her recipe that I've used. So and she's also a YouTuber, so check her channel out. She's got some nice recipes on there. But we happened to make the almond milk pretty much at the similar time. Her recipe came out the day I was gonna film my live video, so my live stream. That was quite strange, and so she gave this cookie recipe using the almond pulp that I thought I'll show you guys as well. It was really, really delicious, and plus is, like I said, it's gluten free as well, so it's good for people with gluten intolerance too. So make sure you incorporate the peanut butter into the banana mixture quite well, because mine was because it's the end of my jar. It's nearing the end of my jar, so it's kind of it's quite hard at the bottom. It's quite runny at the top normally, and quite hard at the bottom. So I need to make sure I get out all the lumps of the peanut butter to just make it more smooth and even consistency. So also at this point, it would be a good point to add your half a teaspoon of salt. Let me just double check whether it's quarter of a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. I think it's half a teaspoon. Yes, half a teaspoon of salt, quite a little bit of salt, but I couldn't taste it. It was, I couldn't taste that salt. So half a teaspoon of salt in here. And might as well just add that teaspoon of baking powder as well. So you need a teaspoon of baking powder. I'll add that in now while I'm mixing this. And then the other ingredients we're going to need is 1/3 of a cup of sugar, like I already said. So either brown soft sugar that I'm using, or better rapadura, which is unrefined cane sugar, or coconut sugar. So it's better to use adding solid sugar as opposed to liquid sugar. Makes the bakes a little bit lighter, fluffier. So try it if you want to try it with maple syrup. Yeah, try it and let me know what you thought. So I'm gonna add the sugar. I'm adding the sugar next and mixing that in. So basically you're just adding all the ingredients and mixing it through. Then I'm adding my flax. So this is 1/4 of a cup of flax. And I'm going to put all the ingredients and the quantities for you guys in the description below after this video finishes. But yeah, so it's 1/3 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of milled flaxseed. So it's about 2 tablespoons of flaxseed that I milled myself. Or if you buy pre-milled, you could use that. And if you buy milled flaxseed, guys, a tip would be to actually keep it in the freezer, because it will have a longer kind of shelf life, if you like, because once you mill the flaxseed, then it becomes very susceptible such a word, susceptible to kind of temperature changes and things like that. And the oil in the flaxseed, because it's exposed, it can get rancid quicker. So your milled flaxseed doesn't really last very long out, in the cupboard if you don't put it in the fridge. So you can put it either in the fridge or even better in the freezer. So that way you can keep it much longer. If you don't use much, but you bought like a big bag of flaxseed, that's the best way to store it, is in the freezer. And then finally, we add a cup of almond pulp. So this is a pulp for making almond milk, and I've defrosted that. So if you frozen yours, just took out this morning and put it on the counter to just let it naturally defrost. Or if you just take it out and put it in the fridge overnight, so that will also defrost. So yeah, just mix that pulp in. And at the minute, the batter is quite sticky and runny. But actually, I forgot. So this is not the last ingredient. The very last ingredient, and don't skip this. This is coconut flour. Coconut flour will make your these cookies much fluffier and lighter. If you skip this, you might get like a very dense cookie, and you don't want that. It's with this, it's really nice and fluffy. So 2 tablespoons of coconut flour. And once the flax seeds and coconut flour kind of absorb more of the liquid, the dough becomes like drier and easier to manage. But I think because we're just making this live, I would suggest, if you've got 10-15 minutes, leave your dough to stand for 10-15 minutes covered, so that the liquids get absorbed into flaxseed and into coconut flour properly, and your dough becomes a bit more workable, if you like, a bit drier. At the minute, it's quite nice and fluffy, soft, but soft and sticky still. So that's that. And then the last ingredient is 1/3 of a cup of either chocolate chips, if you have them, or raisins. So I'm opting for raisins because I don't have chocolate chips, and I could break up some dark chocolate, but I quite like raisins in this cookie. So it's up to you. It's up to you what you decide to put. So I'm going to add the 1/3 of a cup of raisins and mix that in. So this is it. So this is all ingredients mixed in, added. So I'm going to mix it well. And I'm preheating my oven on 175, and you're going to need to bake these cookies for 20 to 22 minutes. Mine actually were starting to slightly get burned around the edges, around 20 20-minute mark. So it depends, how hot your oven. Just check, maybe put on 18 minutes to start with, and check how your cookies are doing. So yeah, so this is it. So the way I'm gonna actually form these cookies, they're a little bit too wet yet, because like I said, I can't just stand here and wait for 10 minutes because I'm doing this live, guys, for you. I'm just gonna use tablespoon, and we're gonna be placing scoops of this cookie dough onto the silicone mat that I've got, or you can use parchment paper, and then kind of just slightly tap it into some kind of a shape of a cookie. They will slightly fill out a little bit, not that much, but just slightly, because that sugar will melt a little bit. That solid sugar we've added. So you could wet your hands and form the cookies nicer with your just slightly kind of moist hands if you wanted to. That way you would get like a nicer shape. But I don't really mind them being rugged like this. It's got some kind of charm as well when it's like that. So just, it's about like maybe 1.5 tablespoons worth of batter for a cookie that I'm using. And it makes 4 times 3, about 12 cookies from this quantity. So just portion them out. Try and do approximately evenly so that they bake evenly. So yeah, that's pretty much perfect, guys. My 11, and this is my 12th cookie. A little bit of batter left. Use it all up. Yeah, so this is it. Even now, if you wanted to, you could just, I might just do that actually. I might wet my hand and just pat it on the cookie just slightly so it kind of evens out all the rough edges. Because these are looking rough and ready, guys. But yeah, so this is it. So this is the recipe. And now I'm gonna put these into 175 Celsius oven to bake for approximately 20 minutes or so. It might be a little bit less, it might be a little bit more. We'll see how these go. Yeah, so this is it, guys. Let me know if you try this, what you thought of it. Is there any other recipes that you make from almond pulp or other nut pulp? Do you know? I'm trying to think what other pulp you would get. No, I think it's mostly almond pulp because cashews, when you make milk out of cashews, there's nothing left behind. So yeah, so let me know if there's any other interesting recipes you know and you would like me to try making as well from the almond pulp, because I'm all about zero waste. I don't like wasting food, you know. So even with salad, if the salad is, you know, it's been there for a couple of days and I haven't eaten and it's starting to kind of get watery and not so nice, I never throw it out. I always use it, for example, in a stir fry. So I stir fry it with a bit of like sweet chili sauce, soy sauce or something, and put it on my noodles. And it's really delicious, especially if you use courgette instead of a cucumber. Because cucumber, if you add cucumber to salads, can get a little bit too watery. And I don't know, fried cucumber might not be so nice, although I'm sure I've done it in the past. But if you use courgette, for example, in your salads, it's really delicious, stir fried as well afterwards. So that is it, guys. If you're new here, welcome to the show and subscribe for more shows on Sundays like this and videos every Wednesday. And hit that bell button so you get notified every time I release a new video. And remember, guys, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in your body. Until the next time.